Everyone, it's Steve from Sneaker Tech Talk, back with another video today. For today's video, we will be doing a versus video on the Kobe 9 Elite series with the Kobe 9 Elite highs versus the Kobe 9 Elite lows. So let's talk about which shoe I like better and what are we looking at as far as the overall tech package. All right, so really quickly, these shoes are both dubbed Protros. Now, I kind of think differently as far as how they perform. Really quickly, as far as the price point, I believe the high tops were $250 USD, around like $330 Canadian, and the lows, I believe, were $200 or $210 USD and $270 here in Canada. So very expensive basketball shoes, and you know, I don't really know that we're getting the overall tech that the price point is kind of warranting. But as always with both of these shoes, starting with the traction pattern, on both of them, you are getting the pressure mapping of the foot. On the Moonwalkers right here, it is a translucent outsole. It's a little more firm of a rubber compound on these guys right here, whereas on the Masterpiece high tops, you are getting a solid rubber compound. It's a bit softer. As far as how they perform, I would say you have to wipe less with the high tops because they are not translucent. They don't attract as much dust. Whereas with the low tops, they are a translucent outsole. It's a little more firm, so I think this outsole might last a little longer, but you have to wipe this one a bit more when it comes to dirty floors. Now, which one do I like better? While it lasts, I would say I do like the solid rubber outsole on the Masterpiece just a little bit more, because I just found these to be a bit more tacky and they did not collect as much dust as the Moonwalker pair did with the translucent outsole. Now, as far as outdoor use with both of these, first of all, the price point is crazy, and for that reason alone, I would not take these outdoors. But with the really thin grooves on both of these shoes, these would shred outside on basically any floor. So I wouldn't bring these outdoors, keep them indoors if you're planning on grabbing a pair. But for me, as far as the traction goes, I'm gonna have to go with the Kobe 9 Elite High with that solid rubber outsole. Now, as far as the cushioning goes, it's exactly, you have a React drop-in midsole. I will grab it out of this pair right here. It's very low profile in the forefoot. You have a bit of impact protection at the back, but overall it's really nothing special. This is where I wish they beefed up the cushion setup on this shoe. It's exactly the same in this. In both of them, they're rather clunky at the back because it is a lot of plastic and carbon fiber. You know, once this shoe warms up, it becomes a bit more soft, but it's really nothing special. It's basically the same thing as it was. If anything, Lunar Lawn was softer, but Lunar Lawn does break down quicker than React, so that's where you're gonna get a bit more longevity out of this setup. I wish we had Zoom Strobel with this or a Zoom combo housed within this drop-in midsole, but that's not what we're getting. You know, decent impact protection at the back, especially for lighter players, really close to the floor up front. You also have some grippies right here for your socks so you don't slide around. Heel to toe transition is not the best in this shoe, but if you like drop-in midsoles and you like a minimal setup, I think you'll enjoy these. But for me, I'm gonna have to give both of these a 7 out of 10. And again, it is an absolute tie as far as the cushioning goes. As far as the materials go on both of these shoes, it's more or less exactly the same. On the bottom half, you do have a really crispy and glued down Flyknit. Obviously, that's to add some extra strength and durability. This one does have that multicolor look right here. I do enjoy this overall look better than the Moonwalker pair. The Moonwalker pair is very nice, but I like the multicolor look on the Masterpiece. And then obviously these are a higher collar shoe, as you can see right here. You do kind of have some patent leather hits, and then the Flyknit on the back is a lot more stretchy and soft. Obviously, this doesn't add a ton of, you know, really support or anything, but the overall materials of both of these shoes are pretty much the same. I do like it a little bit better on the high tops because just the way it wraps around your ankle, again, it's not adding support, but it just feels really nice and secure. The tongue is very padded as well, but sound off in the comments. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the high top material or the low top material. Again, the bottom portion exactly the same. It's just the high tops have a bit more of that natural Flyknit feeling. As far as the fit goes, that's where they differ just a little bit. So there is less padding at the back of the high tops. It's really thin right here all the way down. Whereas on the low tops, you have a ton of padding at the back of the shoe. And that's where they do differ, because with these, I went with a size 10.5. It's a very snug one-to-one fit. My toe is right near the end of the shoe. Whereas with the low tops, they fit the same, but I did have to go up half a size because of all of the padding at the back. It was the same with the engineered mesh version. I could not wear a size 10.5 in those. It was impossible. The fit is rather nice on both of these shoes. The tongue is gusseted on both of them. You kind of have that pro combat-esque tongue for breathability and just comfort on your foot. Again, the overall fit, I had to go up half a size in the low elites, whereas with the high elites, I could go true to size, which is usually a 10.5 for me. It is more or less the same. I enjoyed both of them, but I do really enjoy this collar around the top of your ankle with the Kobe 9 High Elites. Now, as far as the weight goes on both of these shoes, keep in mind the Moonwalker pair is half a size larger, but the low tops come in at 14.6 and the 10.5 high tops come in at 16.2. So obviously the low tops are lighter. These don't feel much heavier on foot, but the scale doesn't lie. So as far as the weight goes, the low top elite pair right here definitely takes the cake. Now, as far as the support goes, it's identical in both shoes. Obviously with the high tops, you do have a taller ankle collar, but what you're getting with this shoe as far as the support goes is an internal TPU heel counter. If anything, it is more sturdy on the lows, whereas on the highs at the back, you can see it's a lot more soft at the base of the shoe, whereas on the lows, you can't do that quite as much. On the internal portion, both of the shoes have an external TPU portion with carbon fiber on the lateral and medial side. And that plate does run down to the midfoot with another carbon fiber plate right here. Again, it's exactly the same on the high tops. You also have this rubberized portion near the pinky toe on both of these shoes to act as a guard rail on both of them, further down the shoe. You also have a pretty wide and stable base. That plate also runs to the medial side right here with some more carbon fiber on both of these shoes. So you do get a ton of support at the base of the shoe and at the heel counter. There is no shank plate right here, but you don't really need it because you have that TPU and carbon fiber infused plate on both sides of the shoe. Very reminiscent to the EQLZ 24/7s with that TPU plate on both sides. Would I have liked the shank plate? Sure, it might have added a little more torsional rigidity, but they're not terrible underfoot. You also have these fly wire cables running down into the strobo board on each eyelet. So when you really crank those laces down, it wraps around your foot nicely. That is on both of these shoes right here. And then the Flyknit upper on this shoe is pretty crispy. It's really glued down. There's some extra padding at the back. So it's a very strong upper. On all of my hard lateral cuts on either one of these, I was good to go. I was not sliding over the footbed at all. This is a very supportive basketball shoe, but if I had to pick one over the other, I would have to say that I do think the low tops are a bit more of a sturdy shoe, especially at the heel counter. It is a lot more firm at the bottom of here, at the bottom of this shoe, because of that internal plate being a bit more sturdy than this one that's a bit more soft, as you can see right here on the high tops. That's not to say these are a slouch. This top portion doesn't add any more support. If anything, it's just a placebo effect. Obviously, Kobe coming back from that torn Achilles and with those stitch marks at the back, it adds a bit more of like a boxing boot feel. You can definitely play in these. They feel very nice around your foot. The Flyknit feels great. The tongue is padded. But as far as the support goes, I'm gonna have to give that to the Kobe 9 Elite Lows. So can I recommend both of these shoes? Now, obviously the price point of the high tops, I think we're done with the high tops now. They were $250, these are $200 or $210. A better price point, but honestly, both of these are very steep for Kobe Protro models that aren't really updated at all. That's my biggest gripe with this line after his passing, is Nike has been kind of grabbing our money and not giving us much more performance. Now, on the 9s, they said they gave us another line as far as the outsole for extra traction. That's bogus. They offered us the React Drop and midsole. Again, it's more or less the same as the Lunar line. It might last a little longer, but it's not really adding an extra bounce under your step, at least not for me. If you like it, go for it. For me, it's just too minimal. You know, this is more of a retro, both of these, rather than a Protro. The performance retro was what Kobe wanted his shoes to be, more of a performance beast for today. Slimming them down, making them more lightweight, maybe adding some better traction or rubber compounds, better cushioning. We're not really getting that in these, but if you do like low profile shoes with very nice traction, support, the materials are pretty decent, nothing premium, but it's that glued down Flyknit material. The fit's pretty nice. Again, I went with a size 10.5, true to size in these. I had to go up half a size because of all the padding at the back. But that's gonna do it for today's video. If I had to pick one shoe over the other, I do like the look and design of the high tops better. I think these just look fantastic, and specifically in this colorway. But if I had to pick one over the other, strictly performance wise, I'm gonna have to go with the low tops. I do like the support on this shoe better. It is about 2 ounces lighter. The traction is more or less the same. Obviously with the solid rubber compound, you might get a bit of a better setup, but everything else is basically identical. And this is a cheaper basketball shoe. I don't think any of the low tops, especially in the elite versions, are gonna go on sale. But for me, if I had to pick between both of these, I would definitely be going with the 9 Elite lows. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Sound off in the comments if I am out to lunch as far as his 9th signature shoe being a Protro. Do you like playing in them? Do you think the upgrades are enough for the price point that we're paying for these performance retros? I don't know. Sound off in the comments. For me, it's not really cutting it. I would like to see more out of Nike, just making this shoe a better technical shoe here today in 2025. But sound off in the comments and let me know. But as always, if you guys could like, comment, and subscribe, that would definitely help the channel a ton. And check out my Instagram over at Sneaker Tech Talk, as it is an extension of my YouTube channel with all my pickups, basketball footage, and nostalgia as a whole. As always, thanks for watching today's video, and until next time, peace.